Hello to all of your viewers. Welcome to this edition of the news in English on Rwanda Television. My name is Serge Nhore. We'll start with the headlines. The First Lady of Rwanda has participated in a youth forum focusing on the issue of teen pregnancies in the country. And on the international scene, the death toll from the two powerful earthquakes that struck Venezuela has continued to rise. Now, as we begin this edition of the news in English, let us first inform you that on Friday afternoon at Village Rugwiro, His Excellency President Paul Kagame received a delegation of constitutional experts from the East African community, together with officials from the EAC Secretariat led by Andrea Akir Aguera, the EAC Deputy Secretary General. Discussions focused on the ongoing work towards the East African Political Confederation, including progress on drafting its constitution and on the next steps to advance the region's integration agenda. Now, as we just noted in the headlines, the First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, who is also the chairperson of the Imbuto Foundation, has participated in the youth forum held under the theme Building Resilient and Safe Families while Accelerating Efforts to prevent and eliminate teenage pregnancy. The latest demographic and health survey indicates that the teenage pregnancy rate in the country has increased from 5% in 2020 to as high as 8% last year. Figures from the Ministry of Health show that more than 23,000 children get pregnant every year. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sabe Sanzimana, has confirmed that girls who give birth at an early age face serious health risks, including their bodies not yet physically mature enough for childbirth, resulting in a high number of maternal deaths among them. Now, Rwanda's Chief Justice, the Honorable Domiti Mukanaganswa, has called on court inspectors to strengthen their oversight of cases that are postponed without clear justification, stating that such practices tarnish the image of the judiciary and inconvenience citizens. She made the remarks on Friday during the quarterly meeting with the presidents of all courts across the country. Now, figures released by the Supreme Court show that as of the 15th of this month of June, courts across Rwanda had registered more than 102,000 new cases. These were added to more than 54,000 cases that remained unheard at the end of the previous judicial year, bringing the total case backlog to more than 156,000 cases. Now, Rwanda's Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Gertrude Kazarwa, has received Mali's Auditor General, Abdulaziz Agwiza. The Malian Auditor General has praised Rwanda's use of technology in auditing public finances, noting that public institutions are held accountable by transparently reporting how they have used public funds. The Auditor General of Mali has been on an official visit here in Rwanda since Monday. Now, members of the East African Legislative Assembly have stressed that the time has come for East African community partner states that fail to comply with the bloc's regulations, including the payment of mandatory contributions, to face sanctions, arguing that persistent non-payment is causing financial losses and preventing the community from achieving key commitments made by regional heads of state. The issue of unpaid financial contributions was among the key matters discussed during a meeting of EALA members.
So problem number one, lack of remittances. Problem number two, lack of remittances. Problem number three, lack of remittances. So if you can do whatever you can using your diplomatic knowledge, because you are very, very intelligent. But that intelligence can only help this if you can be able to convince those countries that have not been remitting to remit the money so that we can perform our duties effectively.
The Honorable David Sanko, the Kenyan EALA member, speaking there. Another to speak during the meeting was Paul Mwasa Musamali, the Ugandan EALA member.
2017, each partner state was contributing 8,300,000 to the community. That money has reduced to 7 million now. Remember, it is reducing at the time when we are even increasing institutions to the community. This community here, we had a community 1967 to 1977, which collapsed. That community that collapsed, it had people who were working. It did not matter where you are coming from, they were working for East Africa. We had common services, East African Airways, East African Railways, East African what, everything, including the East African shilling. It was the same currency. Now these are the issues we want to achieve. Customs union, all of us trade freely. Common market protocol, all of us to move freely and invest freely. A single currency, including ultimately the what? A federation.
Of the EAC's 2026-2027 budget, 38% will be financed by development partners. The Rwandan EALA member, the Honorable Fatuma Ndangiza, has noted that if external funding continues to rise, eventually outweighing the financial commitments of partner states, it could undermine the implementation of the priorities and programs agreed upon by EAC heads of state.
Recently, EALA, the East African Legislative Assembly that has been meeting in Arusha for the plenary budget, passed a budget of 2026-2027 with an amount around 110.8 million US dollar, and 62% of that contribution, 56.6% of that contribution comes from our partner states, while around 42% comes from development partners, but there are also other sources of revenues, whereas we appreciate our heads of states, but also development partners. We want to urge our partner states to, as much as possible, ensure that there is self-reliance. We wouldn't be happy to have our key sectors like peace and security, health and education over-relying on partner states development partner states funding. We hope a time should come when we are able to fund at least 90% of our budget. Yes, in our assessment, in our deliberations, one of the challenges that keeps on coming is the issue of non-remittance. For the last almost like 10 years of this community, of course the community has grown, 8 partner states now, but still only 4 partner states are the ones who are compliant to paying their remittances. We still have so many remittances such that at the end of each budget year, we've only received like between 59% to around 64%, which is still low. So a lot of areas are still in some of those non-partner states that are not paying. And therefore in our debate, we urged all partner states to be compliant, and even urged our partner states, because one of the resolutions of the heads of state was for the sanctioning, because sanctions are also provided in our treaty, to sanction partner states that are not meeting their remittances. And one of the decisions that was taken, for example, if you are not meeting your remittances, you cannot be able to field or vie for some positions within the community, like the Secretary General, the Speaker to the Assembly, the Deputy Secretary Generals, the President of the Court. But we need them to go further, because you cannot have a community of 8 partner states. You have a big agenda of integration. You are talking of enhancing trade in the region. We are talking about peace and security. We are talking about benefiting from the big market of 300 million, and yet you are not paying and you are members. So I think we urge ministers to follow through the decisions of partner states.
Doring the financial year now coming to an end, the East African community spent more than $113.8 million, the budget approved by EALA for the 2026-2027 financial year amounts to more than $110.8 million. Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya are among the countries that consistently meet their financial obligations, with their contributions helping to finance the implementation of the EAC's development programs. Now, the Bank of Kigali has launched a new financing initiative named BK Go EV, a loan scheme designed to make 100% electric vehicles more affordable to individuals and businesses. Our colleagues Francine Umutesi and Pierre Serestaga-Taraiha have more.
The program will provide low-interest loans for both private and commercial electric vehicles, including passenger cars, buses, and cargo vehicles. Under the initiative, customers will not be required to provide collateral, making it easier for more Rwandans to own electric vehicles. Customers will purchase vehicles through electric vehicle dealerships that have partnered with Bank of Kigali under the BK Go EV program. Once an agreement is reached with the dealership, the bank will finance the purchase through affordable loan facilities.
We believe our clients will have access to affordable financing to get access to EV, not only for private owners, but also for taxi drivers, taxi operators, but also bus operators. We thought that this was long overdue. This is a product that will enable our client to get access, like I said, to affordable financing, to interest rate as low as 14%. For private owners acquiring EV vehicles, we will not ask for any collateral, so there will not be any security required. And we will also charge an interest rate as low as 14%, so it will be quite affordable.
The initiative builds on Rwanda's ongoing efforts to phase out aging vehicles and promote cleaner transport. Some companies have already benefited from Bank of Kigali's electric vehicle financing, including Kimu Transport, a public transport operator. The company's management says the adoption of electric buses has significantly reduced operating costs while improving business efficiency. Among the vehicles available through the program are electric cars manufactured by CVR Jury. Representatives of the company in Rwanda say electric vehicles offer substantial savings by lowering fuel and maintenance costs compared with conventional vehicles.
As a supplier of one of the biggest brands in China, which is Geely, we're very happy for BK to include us in this very nice initiative, especially since our cars target taxi vehicles, and also we also have fleets. We also have models for personal cars. People want to own their cars personally. So this is something that will help more Rwandans get EV cars. You know, now that the price of fuel has greatly increased, it is now the time to change to EV. Not only that it is going to be very good for their pocket because they will be saving, but they are also contributing to the quality of the air that we breathe in Kigali, which, you know, they will be reducing some carbon emissions. Yeah. So what is unique about us is that we don't just bring any EV brand, any Chinese EV to Rwanda. We specifically select those brands that are reliable, that are meaningful to our, that relate to our geography and tropical climate. You know, we have bad roads and etc. So we don't just select. That is why we deal with only premium brands.
Bank of Kigali says the BK Go EV initiative is not only aimed at supporting its customers with affordable financing, but also contributes to Rwanda's national commitment to environmental protection and the transition to cleaner, sustainable transportation.
This is in line and with the vision of the country to reduce gas emission by 30% by the horizon of 2030. And in doing so, it means that there needs to be an increase in the number of EVs on the market. Currently, we have around 7% of the national fleet that is EV, roughly. We believe that number is going to increase, mostly because, like I mentioned earlier, the prices of fuel that have increased by almost 50% of recent. And we see in traction, we're seeing clients who used to be a little bit doubtful of for these vehicles. They are now having faith because of the experience, the quality that is being sourced from China. Also the availability of charging stations. I think there's also an improvement on the part of the government to improve the infrastructure, to give confidence that whenever they need, they can charge their vehicles. I think that was the biggest hurdle in the beginning. There was not enough charging stations, but now you do have enough charging stations in the city to ensure that people are not stranded.
At the launch of the initiative, Bank of Kigali signed partnership agreements with more than 8 electric vehicle dealerships. The partnerships are expected to simplify the vehicle purchasing process for customers seeking to own electric vehicles, while accelerating the country's shift towards green mobility. Hansine Mutesi for RTV News.
The Rwanda Transport Development Agency has observed that the adoption of climate-resilient and environmentally sustainable road construction methods will help protect communities from recurring natural disasters. The remarks were made during the inauguration of infrastructure projects, including drainage systems, completed in the districts of Ngororero and Nyabihu. The inaugurated works include the rehabilitation of the drainage systems and the reconstruction of washed-away drainage systems in areas where residents had frequently been affected by natural disasters that destroyed homes and other property. The projects were officially commissioned on Friday. RTDA says the completed works will help shield communities from the recurring disasters that had previously affected them. The works were carried out along the Muhanga, Ngororero, Kabaya, Nyabihu Road. They included the restoration of 15 hectares of land adjacent to the road, the planting of Vieta grass and indigenous trees, the construction of 520 meters of underground drainage channels, and 1,100 meters of surface drainage channels. The projects were implemented in partnership with the Nordic Development Fund project in Rwanda at a total cost of more than 4.3 billion Rwandan francs. Now, stakeholders closely following the development of Rwanda's technology sector say greater collaboration across all sectors is still needed if the country is to achieve its ambition of becoming Africa's leading technology hub. Lambert Gahungu, a 30-year-old entrepreneur, founded a company specializing in both the development and repair of technology products through research he recently conducted in collaboration with young people he employs, as well as students studying information technology in secondary schools. They developed educational robots designed to support teaching and learning in both primary and secondary schools.
Launched 3 initiatives today under the theme of building Rwanda's digital future. We launched Tajire robotic kits for learners. That's the first initiative. The second initiative was Tajire Tech Bridge program. And the third one was Tajire distribution engine. All these 3 initiatives serve each other for the main goal of building Rwanda's digital future. So the first question you asked about how the robotic systems is going to be deployed on the market, and is going to promote STEM education. So this is going to be deployed through the Minodic and Mini ICT, so that it can reach all the students who are now running from primary school to secondary school, and very soon to universities.
The students who participated in the research say it would be beneficial to have more companies offer such opportunities as they help them better understand the practical application of what they study. The head of emerging technologies at the RwandaTV board says the institution is strengthening partnerships with the private sector to ensure that students seeking internships in technology and other vocational fields have access to practical workspace experience.
As RTB and necessarily as a country, that the platform that we have provided to the young people has been embraced, and people like the founders of Tajiri who are making use of the platform provided to them, providing employment, creating an ecosystem, because their marketplace is quite an example and a good benchmark for any young Rwandans who want to come and invest and create jobs and provide opportunities to the people, especially those that are interested in technology. So it's encouraging to us. It's encouraging to us as RwandaTV board, that us who are responsible of technical education, knowing that whatever we are teaching, it has a platform where it will be embraced. So Tajiri marketplace and the entire ecosystem they're putting in place, it's a platform for our supply, for our graduates who graduate in TVET. There is a platform for them. Even during the time when they are studying, they are welcoming them, giving them internship, industrial attachment and internships when they graduate, and later on giving them platform for employment and growth.
Specialists from the Ministry of ICT and Innovation say Rwanda still needs more private companies creating technology-related jobs so that students studying the field can gain practical experience and deepen their understanding of their work course.
Tajiri is a local company built by Rwandan entrepreneurs. It's good to see the milestone they've reached today and the level of scaling that they're looking to do, both in terms of promoting R&D, promoting skills, but also creating jobs. Tajiri is a good example, not only for local entrepreneurs, but also for Rwandan businesses who want to venture into digital skills. That there are opportunities, they're very wide. Rwanda has a very good growing demand for digital skills, but also this is a global demand. One of the things that we see with the trend of AI is that Rwandans need to be able to adapt to these new technologies. Rwandans need to also not only consume technologies, but also be the ones that can create these technologies.
Rwanda ranks first in Africa for innovation and the adoption of technology. The country has committed to becoming a leading technology hub by attracting major technology companies, including the drone delivery company known as Zipline, and artificial intelligence initiatives, while also hosting major international technology conferences. Now, the Rwanda Defense Force and the Rwanda National Police, in partnership with hospitals across the country, have concluded a 2-month nationwide campaign providing free cataract surgery. More than 6,000 people receive treatment and say the program has helped transform their lives. William Evans Mutabazi with more.
100-year-old Maria had lived with eye issues for years, leaving her with severe impaired vision. Some had assumed that her poor sight was simply a result of old age. Following surgery, she is among the 6,000 beneficiaries celebrating improved vision after receiving free treatment across the country. I can now see. This is the eye they operated on yesterday, and it is already seeing well. I am waiting for the other eye to also be operated on, and they've just called me. Checked the first eye and found I had lost sight. It was operated on yesterday around noon. By morning, I was seeing very well. I was told my second eye also needed to be operated on. and that is why I'm here. Please send our gratitude to the leaders for sending us these experts. I struggled with sight, especially with my left eye. The right one was seeing, but with difficulty. But they both are now seeing perfectly well, and I'm so thankful. The beneficiaries were identified from more than 90,000 people screened nationwide after being found to be at high risk of blindness. Dr. Jean-Pierre Byukusenge says that the campaign also highlighted the scale of eye diseases in Rwanda. There are people who come here with sight issues in one of the eyes or even both. The good thing is that everyone who has been operated on regained their sight and they were able to see the next morning. We are here to help each and everyone who has come, and by tomorrow, all will see well. According to available figures, 56% of blindness cases in Rwanda are caused by cataracts. However, only 46% of people who need cataract surgery are able to access these services. Director General of Kibagabaga Hospital, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Ernest Munyemana, said that patients treated under the program in Kigali received surgery free of charge. Honestly, the first step was mobilization and awareness campaigns to remind people that they should not go blind, yet we have doctors that can treat them. We screened, and arrangements were made to facilitate all the patients to the hospital for the operation and back home. This is something that is so pro-citizens. Under this partnership with Rwanda Defense Forces and National Police, all the treatment is free of charge. Globally, the World Health Organization estimates that contracts account for 40% of all blindness cases, affecting approximately 17 million people.
Employees of Airtel Rwanda who visited the Nyanza Genocide Memorial say learning about Rwanda's history and the events that led to the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi has strengthened their resolve to ensure that such atrocities never happen again. They made the remarks during a visit to the memorial, as noted, which was combined with the donation of 15 cows to vulnerable families of genocide survivors. The Airtel Rwanda employees, most of whom are young people, were first taken through the history of the genocide against the Tutsi, with particular emphasis on the atrocities committed in Nyanza, where mass killings were carried out with the involvement of local leaders during the genocide. They later paid tribute to the innocent victims laid to rest at the memorial. The visit to the Nyanza Genocide Memorial was also marked by the donation of 15 cows to vulnerable families of survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi in Nyanza district. The beneficiaries said that the effects of the genocide had left many of them destitute after their livestock once owned was looted or slaughtered, depriving their families of milk and manure for farming. They added that receiving cows demonstrates that there are people who care about them and that the country continues to support them. The management of Airtel Rwanda said that understanding Rwanda's history serves as an important lesson in rejecting all forms of genocidal ideology and other destructive ideologies. The head of Airtel Money, Jean-Claude Gaga, said the company will continue contributing to efforts aimed at helping citizens overcome poverty, particularly by supporting the Girinka Munyarwanda program initiated by the President of the Republic. The Executive Secretary of Ibuka, Naftal Ahishakie, noted that providing cows to vulnerable survivors offers a sustainable path out of poverty, as demonstrated by the positive outcomes experienced by previous beneficiaries. The Vice Mayor of Nyanza District, in charge of social affairs, Nadine Kaitesi, said the support provided by development partners gives residents renewed hope and helps the district achieve its goal of lifting citizens out of poverty, noting that cattle are a valuable source of household income and and economic development. Ibuka says that during the 100-day remembrance period each year, between 700 and 1,000 survivor families typically receive support through livestock donations. This year, however, more than 1,000 cows have already been distributed, raising expectations that by the end of the 100 days of remembrance, well over 1,000 families of survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi will have received assistance to help them rebuild their lives and improve their livelihoods. Now moving on, 9 Rwandan fashion designers and creatives are set to travel to London on Saturday, the 27th, under the Rwanda Fashion Entrepreneurship Program, a UK-based initiative aimed at strengthening business skills, expanding international networks, and opening new opportunities in global markets. Now, the British High Commissioner, Alison Thorpe, says the program was designed not only to showcase Rwandan creativity, but also help designers better understand the UK market and prepare for export opportunities.
I've always had a fascination with fashion, and coming to Rwanda and seeing the amazing fashion on offer here, I just felt that there was a whole new market in the UK that would embrace Rwandan fashion in the same way I have. The challenge was how to get it there, and that's what inspired the programme. So I think that fashion is one area where both the UK government and the Rwandan government have said that it's an area that people want to invest in, that they want to invest in. And so I knew that by creating a fashion programme, we were helping deliver on both governments' objectives of building a stronger creative industry. But I also recognised that the UK market is very different to the indigenous Rwanda market. And if we wanted Rwandan designers to be able to export to the UK, they needed to be able to understand the UK market, what UK consumers want to buy, how they buy, what they look for in their fashion. And this programme is all about teaching Rwandan designers that. What I really hope is at the end of the week, not only have they had a really interesting time in London, that they've learnt a lot, but that they've also had exposure to UK buyers. And who knows, I really hope that in 12, 18 months' time, we will see clothes by these Rwandan fashion designers available for sale in stores in the UK.
Now, beyond the international exposure, participants say the program has already created something equally valuable here at home, and that is stronger collaboration within Rwanda's fashion community. Designer Sonia Mugabo says the initiative has brought creatives together under a shared vision of representing Rwanda on the global stage.
So it started as, actually, it wasn't an actual competition, because this was a discussion that started with the designers and the British High Commission. So for a long time, we knew we were going to come. But I guess what really stood out for me was being able to build this relationship with the British High Commission, but also even my fellow designers. You know, we're all based in Rwanda, but life is busy. Everyone is running their business. So like the program is called Weaving Together. It was really like weaving together and putting all of us in one room and sharing our experiences as designers, but then also being able to represent Rwanda in the UK. Right now, when I say I'm a pioneering designer, I feel like I'm like, wow, where did the years go, you know? But like, it's interesting to see even the new generation of designers. I'm always looking and researching and just being able to be an example for these new upcoming, the next generation. That is my goal. So I think, in a nutshell, I'm excited. It's really exciting. And I just hope that we can represent Rwanda well, which I don't doubt we will. But then also entering new markets. Like you said, you know, we are in Rwanda, we're known in Rwanda. So being able to be exposed to such a huge market as the UK, that's the next move for us. A lot of we're still even in emerging phase when we look at on a world level, you know. So I'm excited to be able to maybe enter a new market, secure buyers, you know, that will create more employment here. And so it's exciting.
Now, among the designers joining the delegation is Joseline Mutoniwase, founder and chief executive of Rwanda Clothing. She says the journey reflects how far Rwanda's fashion industry has come, noting that local designers have spent years building trust in made in Rwanda products and demonstrating the value of locally produced fashion.
We realize that we don't need the word to come here only. We can also bring our word, our tradition, our culture, our creativity to them as well, and then emerge and see what comes out. So I'm really excited, not only me as a designer, also to just go with other designers as well, because I've done a lot of exhibition outside of Rwanda alone, but this is the first time I'm doing it with others, so I'm excited. I think to see the ecosystem in Rwanda, especially the fashion one, is to see that it's not only us doing it alone. We've done it alone, we've done fashion shows, exhibition alone. We will go to ministry, talk about these things. At the beginning, people didn't understand. And also, like, if people don't understand, they're not willing to spend. They're not willing to do anything which worth the growth. But now they are even them coming to us with new ideas to blend our ideas and the idea together. So it means that really the fashion now, if I talk about I'm wearing something made in Rwanda, people are not questioning if I made it or not. They are trusting. If I will put a price on my garment, it's not going to be a longer discussion. They will understand my product. So that's really a beautiful thing to see 15 years later, that that change has created a community, and people really, truly, really love Made in Rwanda.
Now, this brings us to the end of this edition, as I just noted, but the programs here on Rwanda Television continue, so do stay with us until next time. Goodbye.